down a little bit, Vic. A little bit more. Okay, it's all yours, man. Let her go. Just flip her if she gets stuck. Watch the roof. Watch the roof. That's good. There it goes. Flip it. You have to flip it. No? Okay, hold on. I got it. I got it. Keep the momentum going. I got the rope. White rope. Hey, that little piece. It was hung up right there. You good? It was just a little stick. Nothing? I got the rope. I got it. It's all that sap. We're gonna zip one out.
Here, making a choice between whether I want to zip line a limb out or rig a limb out. A lot depends on, number one, how big the limb is, the shape, the size, etc., the wind, and of course, and above overall, the two biggest factors is, can I physically handle the limb, or is the wind blowing? When I drop the limb, gonna put the limb on the fence, the house, a person, etc. So those are some things to contemplate whenever you are deciding whether you want to just rig a limb out. And here's all natural rigging, and or natural crotch as we say it. and you just can, base it on whatever the trees, looks like. Most of these little, we call them scrub pines or southern pine, whatever you want to call it, or I don't really know what I'm so used to saying pines. There's only a few I can really recognize for sure, but this little pine right here, I mean, some of the limbs that you get up are really thick, but the majority of them are no bigger than your wrist, so you can just grab them. As long as they're not so long, you can grab them and just throw them. So that's why the decision was made here to zip some out, because it is sometimes easier than the control that you have based on where you are in the tree, just cut the limb, let it peel over, grab it, then just let it control fall situation happen. Then you get from there to where, okay, now I need to rig this thing out with a natural crotch situation. Just throw the rope over another limb a little higher and just rig it out. Or you get to the point where you say, hey, I don't want to rig out a million pieces. Just a normal way, I'm just going to zip out 10 or 15, or how many of your zip line kit has. And mine, you can see mine just getting fabulous because, again, I don't do a lot of zip lining in my situation, but this was a very technical job here. These two pine trees were tucked away right on the side of the house. Had the unit down there, the chimney, nice two-story with an addition on the back, the sunroom. Then the neighbor's fence and house, if something bounces off and goes his way. I mean, it's a majority of circumstances that can happen in these situations, but trying to bar anything crazy, you try to control your situation best you can.
All right. Little piece. Piece up there. Hey, Nick. Just lay it down, Vic. That's it. It was just that one. Hey, Nick. Just pull it over there. Hey, Nick. Hey, Nick. Hey, Nick. Hey, Nick.
Guys, I learned some pretty good lessons throughout my years of
Hey,
climbing, and
Nick.
also some pretty good sayings from some um, very good tree climbers and tree men over the years. And two of my favorites, especially one for trimming or any kind of just tree surgery, as you might say it, or any kind of technical tree trimming and pruning. is never forget where you are in the tree when it comes to shaping, weight distribution, and then also, leaders and stems and this and that and everything. I mean, I don't know everything there is to know about pruning, but I do know that if you get too crazy and you forget where you are, you forget a certain limb you cut and you cut the wrong thing. I mean, it makes a difference of having to make only one more cut and 30 more cuts, depending on the tree and the situation. And then lastly, when in doubt, climb higher. Now, this sounds really crazy to guys, especially when you're new and you're starting out. Especially, you wouldn't put a new guy in a tree like this. There's no way I would put a newbie in a tree like this. It's just crazy. He would have to have some kind of extra, or just he would have to have proved himself to me that he can, for one, not tear up property and not, be a danger to himself, but he would definitely have to show me that he's capable of something like this because of the situation. The liability here is just insane. Um, that's why you see me basically babying this tree. Um, and the wind blew a little bit on this job, and then sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. But regardless to even the wind, it's just a reality. When you tell a young guy to climb higher, the good thing about climbing higher that most people don't appreciate is that the tree can sustain after you took off. Like say you see me take off about, give or take, about 10 to 15, 20 limbs, something like that, at least as I got closer to the top. But some you probably didn't see because I edited out some. But at any rate, um, the
Yeah.
tree, it can hold your weight up there. So I'm
What?
not on a very, at this point in my life in this
Turn
video, I was
that way.
probably
You
about
can get
close to
some wood off
250 to
this.
260 or
Go ahead
275
now.
almost with all the equipment that I have on,
Come
including the
on, Vic. I need you.
chainsaw and my weight, the harness, the clothes, and then all the gear and the ropes hanging off of me. Um, so you can see here that the ropes are very strong and they can sustain
Need
your
rope.
weight as long. I mean, just like the trees
Hey,
can do the very same thing too. So
just
them
take your
two
park
things you
right
have to
there in front
remember
of
to
me,
put your faith
James.
in to some degree. Now,
Park
granted,
it right
a
now.
little lower, I didn't realize this
We're
tree actually
parking it.
had
I'm
some
getting this
decay in it,
one
but it
down.
wasn't enough to be really scared. I mean, when I came down and seen it, I was like, well, if I would have seen this, my brain would have been thinking differently
Reach
as I
it.
got as far as I did up here because it's about
Hold
another
on.
40,
Hey,
30 to
make
40
sure you
foot lower
attach
than where
enough
I'm
rope
at now,
onto
where I
this
seen the
thing.
decay at.
Get
But I
that
didn't
white
see
rope
it
ready.
going up, or maybe a little higher than that because I was on the other side of the tree. I just kept cutting and moving up, not paying attention to it. But that, again, that happens sometimes. But again, when in doubt, climb higher because the smaller
There it go.
pieces get, the more manageable they get for you.
Got it?
And you don't necessarily have to do all
Can you
this
reach it
rigging
from
that
there?
I'm doing. But I just kept
Okay.
noticing the more I'm throwing them down, as the limbs are they're swaying in the wind, they swaying toward the house or they're swaying toward the fence. So I just say to myself, nah, I'll get this pieced out to where I can just get it to where I can just bomb the whole top. And I probably could have bombed the whole top about another 10 or 15 foot lower than this. But again, with my guys and their experience too on the ground, that's another thing you have to take into consideration too if you are new to climbing, because the guys on the ground sometimes can determine what you're capable of doing or what you're able to do. So I know a lot of people, I get a lot of criticism from well-meaning folks sometimes, but the reality of it is the
All
situations
right.
that I find myself in and how I've taught myself to climb and how I like to
Don't pull
climb
too tight because you'll
is
shake me half to
always going to
death.
be different from how they imagine
All
they
right.
would do
This
it.
stuff ain't that
Or
big up
if you're
here.
watching this video, how you imagine you would do it. And that's the beauty of tree work. You can do it however you want to. Just try to be as safe as possible and try to just calculate, or not necessarily calculate, but try to do away with unnecessary risk at all possible. I've seen people who've been climbing for 30 and 40 years get hurt all of a sudden. People who've been climbing their whole life lose their life. I mean, there's so many things that happen. So accidents are going to happen. They're bound to at some point. But you try to minimize the weight of the accident or the amount
Okay.
of
Hey,
damage
no
that
more
the
to that
accident would
way.
cause or
To
the
your
amount of
left.
personal injury
More
that
to
it
your
would
left.
cause.
You ain't gotta go
Maybe you
back
do
as far,
cut
but just go
yourself with a
more to your
chainsaw.
left.
You do get a limb dropped on you. You do
Cause my
get
whole
hit by
purpose,
a
I'm trying to
falling
get
tree or
everything to
whatever.
go over
But
that
maybe
way.
it's not to the point that's going to take you out. I'm just saying that's just really freaky and crazy scenarios, but rarely that happens. Most of the time you end up messing up somebody's property, power lines, or the roof, a car, or anything of that nature. that's the type of stuff most of the time in jobs like this. Because my main thing is I don't want an insurance claim. I don't want to damage and hurt my guys, and above all, I don't
I'm
want
gonna
to
need
kill
you to go over
myself.
to your left a little bit more.
So
But what
as
I
you're
need you
doing
to
these
do,
jobs and you're
Victor,
contemplating in
is
your
let that
mind as
rope
you up
hang
here
down
climbing, you
and
just
let it go
constantly,
underneath all
that's
of
some
those
of the things
limbs.
that always goes through a climber's mind. That's why um, I've seen so many people, even myself
Why you have
included,
to get in
you
the
normally
neighbor's
get in
yard?
trouble when you up here sometimes and you got so much
Oh,
stress
let's
on
do
you.
this next
That's
one.
why I
Huh?
notice a lot of tree guys, and I
Where you
think a
been at?
lot of them, let the truth be told, to get into the drugs. I mean, they're not used to this type of money. But then they start
One
making this
more
type
little
of
one.
money, partying and going crazy. But then that reality sets in. The reality is you got a month's worth of work backlog. You got all these bills and all this credit you done took out, all this equipment you got to pay for, all these guys you got to keep working, all this just just stress, And then you don't be in your right state of mind up there sometimes. And then if you have sickness or any other situation that can happen, that's when
Hold
accidents
on.
normally happen. And then some people just get up here and just start doing some crazy stuff when they get scared. They just start dropping the biggest pieces you ever want to see because they don't want to climb any higher. They're just so scared to climb
Here we
higher. And
go.
I've been there when I first started. But you got to remember and learn the types of trees, the types of wood you're in. That's one of the things, of course, people like me had to learn through experience, but
That's
some
fine.
people have just been
Hey,
so fortunate
go underneath the
that they've
tree,
been around
walk back
people
to the
who've
fence,
imparted that
and
experience
pull it
to
off.
them to where they can
And watch yourself when it
learn
come
from the
down, because it's
other
coming straight
people
at you.
and be a lot better off than some of the other people have ever been and ever will be, including myself. Because there's no way, I don't
Yeah?
never ever claim
Or
it, and I
walk back
hope
up
y'all
on the
never don't
hill,
feel
either
that
one.
about me, that I'm the best climber in
Pull
the
it off
world.
of there.
But I will tell you this, I'm very capable of climbing almost any tree, 130 foot or smaller, and taking it down in almost any situation. Whether I want to or not is the question though. But I've been in some doozies. But that's the type of person I am. I do what I have to do to survive, and this is how I landed in tree work.
All right, here's what I want
I
you to do this
realized
time.
working for the man, working for the
Take
people,
that rope,
or working for this corporation,
and
working
I
for the
want you to
corporate
walk
people,
right
whatever,
underneath.
it's just a
I want you
dead
to
end.
walk right between this big
I
tree
said
and
I'm
that
just gonna
little
take
tree
my life into my
over
own
there
hands and
toward
try to
those
figure out the
bricks.
most beneficial, the best way I can provide for me and mine. Started off the landscape, trying to do the landscape design, trying to do the grass and all that. I mean, if you watch my videos over time,
Yeah,
you've known
make
this
sure you
about me.
go in
I've
between
mentioned
that
this
little
many
tree.
times, but for the new
Straight
folks,
across.
now though, I got the climbing, contract climbing, or climbing jobs, and this is a pretty big job. I think this job ended up being about 23 to almost 3,000 ish. I can't remember exactly, which wasn't a whole lot. I mean, most guys probably would charge a whole lot more, but you got to understand the type of situation I'm in. I had got a previous insurance job through these people too, so I told her I was gonna look out for her. I wasn't gonna kill on the price, and I did make money, but and it's only me, Vic, and James down there, so it's only three guys. We
Now
I cut the
between it.
trees
Okay?
down. I got on the ground,
Between
helped the
that big
guys.
tree
We
and that little
loaded the
tree.
wood up. We hauled
Walk toward
everything
those
out. Had
bricks.
Bruce come in, grind the stumps. She was very pleased. And it was just one of those situations. Like I said, it wasn't the most expensive job that I could have ever charged or had to, but again, it was a pine tree. So, and then too, as I got up in them, I kind of regretted. I said, man, I probably should charge maybe a little bit more, but at the same time, I had more work coming through the years, and I worked for her mother-in-law and then the son-in-law. So
In just a
this was a
second.
job that pretty much that
Yeah.
basically I pretty much could work for the family
Now
whenever
here's
they
what I
called me,
want you
so
to
it
do,
paid
though.
for itself over time.
I
So
want you to
that's
come
why
to this piece
sometimes too
going
with
right
pricing,
straight
you
down.
can't kill everybody on the price.
That's why
I'm
I
not
want you
saying
over that
shoot
way.
yourself out of the
I'll
job
let you
or
know when, though.
price it so low, but sometimes you just gotta price the jobs thinking about the future, because the reality of it is that sometimes that's what will sustain you over time. Having the future work instead of just one big job, boom, boom, bang, hit it out, make 10,000, but you never work again for the next 6 months type situation. So that's just something to contemplate. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and top this out and get off this phone or get off this line. And again, just think about those things when you're in the trees and just be careful out here, guys. That's why my old slogan and my new slogan that I put and I comment a lot of times says, "Be safe out there up in those trees," because it's real up here when you get up to this point. I mean, it's really, really, really real up here. Um, and this, you see, even if you look in the background, I like to tell people there's two tiers of tree climbing, and especially the guys out west and up in Canada and Australia, Hawaii, and places with the big eucalyptus or mountain ash or whatever you want to call them. You got the guys with the big furs, and I'm telling you, when you get to this point in the tree, when you got your normal tree line down there. You see those maples, how low they are, and I mean they still pretty high. They're 75, 80 foot, but I'm up here close to 95. Maybe I would say probably right at these pines because they were up on the hill, which added about 10 or 15 foot. I could have been close to, um, because that rope that I have is probably 130 foot. The green rope was, or it might have been 115 foot, and it was just able to stretch out and hit the ground where I was able to zip these out down there. Um, so I could have been about, actually I could have been more about 95 to 100 foot at this point.
Put a little tension on it,
But
just a little bit. All right, there
I'm
is
not
good.
sure because well, yeah, because they're all the way down there. They're barely, that rope's barely down there. So I was probably at least 100, at least 100, because this top end got tall right here. So this tree could have been anywhere from give or take a 105 to 110 foot maxed out, plus the top of the weight, the top of the hill. So maybe about 120 foot possibly. Um, but anyways, you see the tree line in the background. And just the difference. You're waiting on that wind. But all right, guys, peace out. Y'all meet your monthly life. Thanks for watching, as always. Take care.
Let it go, let it go. Perfect. Woo! Don't pull, just let it go. As you're pulling me. Just let the slack out. I'll pull it on, I'll pull it. Where's the rest of that rope at? Hold on, I get it. Hold on. Headache. Just be watching your head from here on out. I'm throwing wood down, so just stay out the drop zone. Headache. Okay, clear my drop zone for me. Clear it. Clear this wood for me. Okay, thank you. And clear that truck off, Victor, so we can start putting wood in the truck. Get everything out the bed. Hey!
Now, as I was telling you guys, you can see it there. See, I didn't see that going up because remember I was on the back side of the tree. That's where the top had dropped out. But convinced this little lady and her family here that it's time to get this top dropped out, and that's why they had the construction on the house. That's why, like I said, I really came in and do the insurance work to clean up the limb and some stuff they had in the back. But what ended up happening was she was like, I want you to go ahead and do these two trees too. And then, of course, later on I have more work for you and everything. So that's what I was saying. Kind of glad I didn't see this going up because I would probably not have, possibly would have just topped this piece and just let her do what she's gonna do. Or I don't know, use a pole saw, took some weight off of her and let her rip. I have no clue what I would have thought about, but at any rate, guys, you can see, even like I told you before, the wood is very, very strong. Um, and sometimes you just have to throw caution to the wind, so to speak, not use complete carelessness and senselessness. You still have to weigh out everything because again, one wrong mistake, or if the tree splinters, or if you overweight just any part like this just has a fracture or a splint or a splinter or whatever you want to call it, or any kind of heavy decay or whatever, you got to understand you have to live with those results if you overdo the tree, especially from rigging from a piece like this. But obviously, that same part of the tree held that whole entire top up there the whole time, with the wind blowing as bad as it just was. This was, I can't remember what part of the year this was, but I mean, obviously we all got clothes on, so it was either right at the tail end of, and then the trees ain't got no leaves on. So yeah, this might have been going into the springtime. Um, I can't remember exactly, but at any rate, sometime in 2019. But you can definitely, again, just see um, these trees, they can hold you up. So anyways, I just wanted to mention that, guys.
fact, a lot of it's smaller than that. My goodness. Go ahead, grab that wood. That's in the drop zone. Go ahead, grab that piece for me. That's in the drop zone. Headache. Victor. Victor. Set that when you finish. Set that kit up on the on that maple tree for me. Set that kit up on the tree pulling kit on the maple tree for me. That work? Huh? No. The tree pulling kit, everything that come with it, that rope that I made, you might have to get out the trunk of the car. I think it's still in there. Yeah, we don't need to use that. Oh, no. We use that around the trunk of the tree. I don't know what I'm going to use this time. Just leave it over there. I'll see, because this tree is a little bigger. I'll figure it out.
Guys, Dum forgot to turn the camera on. I apologize for that.
I angled it. I didn't want to cut that gap just in case if it tried to drop off that way. I said, let me leave more this way, but y'all did great. You did great. That's what we talking about. Piece of sky. Or like that. It's over. Victor, cut those, boss. I just cut them big, like that, at first. Huh? Well, you can if you can, but I'm just saying, don't kill yourself for that one piece if we could just cut it. You know what I'm saying? This one right here.
This one?
Yep. Let me show you. Because it got to come this way. When you do it,
just show.
just let it hang like that.
Yeah.
And then go like that. And then, I don't need much. Just a little bit. That's all there. There we go, I got her. Thank you. She should be free. I figured that one we can roll.
Yeah, it's free.
We can roll over there and we can cut it the rest of the way if we need to cut it.
Yeah.
Because it's so big. Yeah, let me take this thing again. I'll move this piece right here over. There we go. It's still on, John. Go on.
I can get it.
Okay.
I think anyway. Well, I thought I could.
Here we go. Let's crank this over. We'll cut. Got it?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Everybody want these pines gone now. Look, all you got to do is have a car. We do big pines. That'd be the name of your company. We do big pines. Well, come on. Everybody want these monsters down.
I know. Look at this one right here.
God.
Good thing it's going out that way, because my goodness.
Yeah, it's getting ready to fall on his house.
Nah, it'll fall out there in the yard. Hopefully not on his house. I looked at it real good before. Look at when this tree was young, though. You see the limb somebody had cut off of it?
Yeah.
And look how it healed up. It was just, or maybe I just cut that. I don't know. Yeah, I did cut that. But that's still amazing. All that included. How strong these trees are. But that's a big old tree. Yeah, that tree got so much weight. It'll go straight there at that like between those two maples.
Tell you what, though, when that ice comes, though,
I know.
ice is just not no friend to these bad boys.
I know.
Well, hell, man, Ice did my dog's chain like that. He had one of those chains where it's wrapped in that, it's still in that plastic. It got hard. He was able to snap it.
Wow. That's amazing right there.
Oh.
That is amazing.
I'll hold it up for you.
There we go. You got, if you want to unclip it for me, how about that?
Yeah, I'll put it for you.
Take it right up there.
All right.
The top there.
There we go, buddy. I know you're tired.
Oh, no, I'm not that tired.
You've been up there in that tree.
We ain't even started the fun part yet.
You know, that's the fun part.
Unloading this mess.
Unloading it.
Yep.
Fun part, hell, even though the job is almost over when you're unloading.
I know, right here. I tell you what, I'm gonna turn this one. Hold on. I'm gonna get right where you at. Okay.
Before you turn it.
Yeah, I'm turning it.
That
out
back
there
that
to the
way?
road. Yeah. All these pieces,
Alright.
we can just pretty much roll once we get them in position. Roll them to the road